On tap, Arrogant Bastard Ale. Hi, I'm James Knott, and this is your Better Beer Authority. You are not worthy! Today we are doing something we don't usually do. We are re-reviewing a beer. It's a blind taste test of Arrogant Bastard Ale from the Stone Brewing Company in Escondido, California. This beer was first brewed in 1997. This craft beer classic is an American strong ale and comes in at 7.2% ABV. Stone lists the hops and IBUs as classified, but CEO Greg Cook admits that there are some pretty good clone recipes out there, so you might be able to figure it out with a little research. This beer is available year-round in 22-ounce bottles, 3-liter bottles, and on draft. Now, it's safe to say that when we started the show, we were fairly inexperienced beer tasters. Our original review of Arrogant Bastard is one of our most hated episodes. I am announcing today something that I have never done before. I'm going to retire our original review of Arrogant Bastard and replace it with today's blind taste test. But before I do, let's see some of our original constructive criticisms of the beer.
Arrogant Bastard, they say they're sophisticated, yet they want to be arrogant. Well, you can also liken that to escargot or caviar. You know what? Great. They say that's sophisticated. Some people don't like it. Some people think it tastes like beer. But you know what? I don't think this beer tastes like beer. But at the same time, I don't enjoy it just like I don't enjoy caviar or escargot.
I do feel cheated. It's $18 a six-pack. For Christ's sake, I could buy a case of beer that we all drink on a normal basis, all right? So,
would that be the fizzy yellow beer?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, I almost feel bad sitting up here on a panel on a show that's on the internet called the Better Beer Authority. This is not a better beer. Definitely not a better beer. I'm ranking this a 4 because, James, I don't think I'd ever buy this again. It's subpar to me.
That was then. What will the guys say 3 years later now that their tastes have evolved a little more? Let's find out. Ryan, tell us about the aromas you're getting in this beer.
As far as the aromas, just kind of, when you put your nose in it, you can kind of tell that it's got some bitterness to it. Kind of get a little bit of kind of a bready sweet malt, but not too overwhelming. But you can get the hops, but it's not a real, at least to me, it's not a real bright citrusy hop aroma. Just kind of, to me, it smells bitter.
Could things smell bitter?
Joby? Where are you going with that?
I mean, there definitely is like a pronounced bitterness to this beer. How would you describe it?
Yeah, I mean, it's got the hoppy characteristics to it, and it kind of lingers a little bit, but then it finishes with kind of a soapy taste. I think, right?
Kind of a soapy bitterness.
Yeah, soapy bitterness. So it's different. I can't really say that it tastes like anything I've ever had. So in that aspect, it's kind of unique.
Scott, how would you describe the hop profile on this one?
It's different. It's a super malty backbone of the beer itself. It seems like kind of hop forward, actually, but it's really weird. It's almost like a black IPA, but American Pale Ale. I don't know. It's a really weird beer. I can't tell. I mean, I feel like it's because I'm familiar with the beer and I have no idea what it is, but I think it's a good beer. Overall, it's got a pretty flavorful taste.
Does the malt come through?
Yes. It's a very malty beer to me.
Ryan.
James, I'm at a 7 on this one. It is a good beer and I am enjoying it. The only thing that kind of holds it back from scoring higher is kind of that lingering bitterness after you swallow. I get just kind of a faint thing of, like I was saying, the soapy is the only thing I can think of to kind of describe it. But the bitterness does kind of linger around until the next sip. But the beer itself is enjoyable, so I don't, I'm not wanting to go back for that next sip. But I think if that finish were maybe a little shorter or a little bit different, that the beer overall would score higher for me. But as it is, it's sitting at a 7 for me.
Okay, Joby.
I'm at a 6, James.
6.
For me, the aftertaste lingers, and then while it's lingering and you have another sip, that taste intensifies in your mouth.
So it's almost like, you know.
I need to drink more.
I need to drink more, but wait,
Yeah.
I don't want to drink more. But, you know, so it's kind of, I don't know, weird.
I mean, do you think a hop lover would like this, or is it just
I mean, I don't think they'd go crazy for it. I mean, I think they could love it, but, I mean, I think there's definitely more hop forward, you know, really hoppy beers that, you know, the hop heads are going to go after before this one.
It's not huge on the flavor, the hop flavor and aroma. It's to me, it's
more
mostly
bitter. Yeah.
how's this? What's your rating, and then how's this bitterness treating you? You like a lot of big.
No, I love this
hoppy
beer. I
beers.
think it's great. I think it's in between an 8 and a 9 for me, and just the mood I'm in.
We don't
I'm going
do
for a 9.
in-betweens.
I'm going for a 9.
You're going for a 9?
Yeah, I love this beer. I mean, I think it's great, but I like that bitter. I really like the bitter. I mean, it's like our friendship here with Joby. I mean, it's a bitter friendship. I love it. It's good. I feel good inside. No, I really do. I think it's a good beer. It's a strong one, I can tell you that.
It was the most hated beer or our most hated review, I should say. Doing it as a blind taste test. The Arrogant Bastard Ale. It's one of her most notorious reviews. I'm actually going to take down the other review, and this review will be replacing it. Because I'm tired of the hate mail. I can't take it anymore.
Well, to be quite honest, with that review, we were kind of playing around a little bit and playing more to the name and just kind of not really being as serious with the review. And we've kind of changed our tone as far as how we do that. I mean,
Yeah, and it went from a 4.7 up to a 7.3.
That's
above
above
average
average, yeah.
for our show.
and I think if you look at the past review, I think I was the harshest critic. And again, it was kind of just being, playing against the name, the Arrogant Bastard, just kind of, being devil's advocate against it.
Right, and that review is actually one of the reasons why we do more blind taste tests. Or that is one of the reasons, yes.
The marketing.
Because we don't want to get so sucked up into the marketing that we can't actually taste the beer. Joby, I mean, we have talked about Arrogant Bastard many times since that point.
Yep.
Blind taste test, what do you think?
I think I rated it perfect. I mean, for me, I've had this is probably the 4th time I've had it since we've done that review, and again, when we did that review, I was very early into craft beer. And, from that day, every time I've had it, I've told myself, the reason I don't like this beer is because the aftertaste lingers forever. And
Right.
for me, that's not enjoyable on my palate.
And that's exactly what you said.
And that's exactly what I said here. And
You
so,
said that off camera, and you said it in a blind taste test.
Right.
So I'm starting to believe you.
I don't like the long tasting, the hop bitterness that keeps on keeping on. I'd rather it keep on, quit, and then next taste you get more. But I have had the double bastard,
Yeah.
and I would have that any day of the week over this because of that bitterness aftertaste quits.
Yeah.
It doesn't keep on keeping on.
If you ask me, without the beer in front of me, where I would put Arrogant Bastard, I would probably tell you that it would be an 8 or a 9 for me. But for today, with the beer in front of me, I felt like it was a 7. I mean, I felt like the finish on it was detracting a little bit for me. And I guess in my recollection, I kind of felt like I normally got a little more flavor and aroma out of Arrogant Bastard. But it has been a little while since I picked one up. It is a beer that I enjoy, but not necessarily one that I get on a regular basis.
So your rating probably went from at least a 5 to a 9. How much of that is your change in palate?
I have no idea. I mean, I didn't like hoppy beers. Joby and I were very similar in our palates. We didn't like hoppy beers. Now, obviously, I appreciate the hop, and I like the bitterness, and I like that. I like the flavor carrying forward, and I like a little bit of that aftertaste, at least if it's a good aftertaste. And I feel like Arrogant Bastard has a pretty good aftertaste. So marketing before definitely drove me negative, but I think my palate's also driven me up. So I think maybe somewhere in the middle ground, maybe if I was a 5 before, I should have really been a 6, maybe a 7, and now I'm a 9. So, somewhere in between. I think it's kind of a little of both.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. Arrogant Bastard. We've re-reviewed it in a blind taste test, and it got a 7.3. Let us know what you think. Is that reasonable? That is above average. Our average rating is 6.9 on this show. So let us know what you think in the comments section. Are you glad we re-reviewed it? Thanks for watching. I'm James Knott. This is your Better Beer Authority.
Better Beer Authority. Better Beer Authority.